Hi folks, it's Ron. Hey, I just got done doing a series of videos on how to bend EMT conduit here using a hand conduit bender. And over that series of videos, I ended up with a pile of conduit here that really is bent in a certain shape and it's really not good for anything else. So I've been cutting it up. And what's a guy do with all that leftover conduit if you just don't want to throw it in the trash? And the answer is we could turn it into wind chimes if we care to. And if you want to go online and Google tubular wind chime dimensions for like half-inch conduit, you will find charts that will give you an idea of how long the piece of conduit ought to be and where to drill it to get a certain note out of it, and then make a series of notes and string them together kind of stuff, whether it's something that's very small as far as a piece of pipe to something that's a little bigger like this one is. So I'm going to put this conduit to good use, and I'll step you through how I'm going to make actually this wind chime. And this is a great little project. We got nothing better to do on a weekend. So we'll take you through it and show you how to do it. Based on the chart that I have here, and I'll give you an idea what this looks like. It actually will show you and give you a distance for the piece of pipe and where to hang the piece of pipe as well here. So I just measured, and I picked, in this octave here, I ended up picking 7 different notes out of that. I didn't pick every one. So I just measured this one to 12 and 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to put it in my vise here, and then we'll cut that piece of pipe to 12 1/4 inches using my sawzall here. So it's cut to the right length, and that chart also gives you a distance to hang it from. So I'm going to make that mark next on, okay? And that, according to this, is at 2 7/8 from the end. So very simply mark it at 2 7/8 from the end here. 7/8. All right. And that becomes actually the 4th one in that series I'm going to make this particular one out of, okay? And you just keep doing that for each particular note, okay? The next step in making that chime is to actually deburr the end of the conduit here, and this in here is already deburred because it was the end of the pipe when I bent that earlier. So I'm just going to put it in my little vise, and one of the handy things of conduit deburring tools is that they will deburr the conduit pretty quickly, okay? And we can make sure there's no sharp edges on that, so somebody doesn't A, doesn't cut themselves, and B, it doesn't cut the string as well. So hopefully deburr that very cleanly. Okay. There we go. There's one pipe. Just can do it to all of them. After I've cut the conduit to length and deburred it and made the marks about where to hang the pieces of the pipe, I'm going to go ahead and with my awl here make a little bit of a start on that for the drill, and then with my drill I'm just going to drill out a hole through it and try and drill it as straight as you can. I don't think it's critical, not quite straight up and down, but now I've drilled out the piece of pipe, and I generally will just use a simple nail, and I'm going to set that nail through there, and with a little persuasion get it in the piece of pipe. And then using a side cutter here, I'm going to cut the wire off a little bit and then bend it over here with my hammer, and we'll call that good, and that will create a pin going through the piece of pipe that I can actually hang the pipe with. Right? Simple enough, and I'll do that to all of them. Here I've got a piece of scrap cedar wood I've got that I'm going to use to actually create the round thing that I'm actually going to hang the little tubes from. So we'll cut off a pretty good sized piece here. And there it goes. There we go. Fresh cut cedar, smells good. I'm I'm going to use a bandsaw to cut out these round shapes, and I'm going to nibble on it because I've got this bigger blade in here. I probably have to change out the blade, but I think I can get this done with the larger blade. There you go, with a little sanding, that'll be fine. Next, I'm going to cut the little flag out that's going to hang on the bottom of the wind chime, and I'm going to just cut that out of another piece of cedar here. So very simply with the saw, just right down the lines I've got here on here. Put a hole in the string in it and be done. After I've got the pieces cut out, I need to drill holes through where the string is going to pass through the wood piece here. And I've got 7 chimes on this particular wind chime, so 360 divided by 7, you end up with just a little over 50 degrees. So about every 50 degrees, I'm going to make a mark here on the board here, and then I'm going to go ahead and drill out these holes, okay? And make those 7 holes, and I'll also drill out this one and drill a hole in for my little flag too, okay? Now I've got all the marks made on the round piece, so I'm very simply just going to drill it out here into a piece of scrap wood. Oops. There's another 1, 2. You could use a lot of things to actually string this wind chime together. I'm just going to use some old cotton thread that I've got a big old roll of here. And I've cut a pretty long piece, and I basically tied a nail on the end of it. And I'm going to string first the middle piece here. The little flag thing is going to bang and make against the pipes. And I'm just going to run that through a little carabiner type thing I have here that swivels, and pass it back through that same opening. And then even up this piece of string. Now this is the side I got the carabiner on, so I'm going to want to hang it, something about that, like that, okay? And I normally just put a kind of staple in these to hold it, bring it back over, there we go. And I normally would put just a little bit of hot glue on that, just to keep it nice and cozy, okay? And that will be the first leg here, and now I'm going to actually put the flag on this end. Now these pipes, the longest, is only about that long. So, where do I want the clanger to go? I'm going to say it's going to be about right in here, okay? And again, do the same thing about the stapling. And I'll put one on this side as well. And again, put a little hot glue in here. Okay, and last thing is we'll tie on the little flag. Okay, I've got the that center string through with the clanger there and stuff, so now I've got to thread in and put in the individual pipe. So very simply, I'm going to pass down through here, through one of the holes. Doesn't really matter which one you start with. And I've got that nail on my end of my piece of rope there, and I've got to string that through this piece of pipe. Now, the easiest way I found to do that is take that nail, run it down into the pipe, and then flip the pipe over backwards like that. Whoops. And the little nail, oops, should come through there. Right? One more time. Like that, and just flip it over. And there we go. Oops. And then I'm going to string that back up through here. See, it's already beginning to make noise. And string it through my carabiner. And I'm just going to tie this one off. I don't have a whole lot of rope here, so I'm going to tie this one off. A little lower. And cut my excess off. Okay, and that's the first one, and the other ones will hang about the same height all the way around, but we'll drop a little further down. So there's the first one. Just keep going until you get them all in there, man. Okay, here's the last one I'm going to put in. Start our string down to the top again. That little nail with the knot on the end was really good. I'm passing it through this pipe and just flipping the pipe over. And it should string right through it, no problems. Actually getting better as you go. Okay. And very simply go. A little slack there. Get that about even with the others up there as well. I don't think it's critical that it's exactly even. Tie off the knot a couple times. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now I've got quite a knot of rope up here, and we're going to take a sizable amount of hot glue. I'm going to try and get this all into one nice little there we go. Oops, and there you have it. One windmill that will make quite a bit of noise. So I'll continue making these until I run out of conduit, which could be quite a few, and some could be even smaller than this one. So, hey, thanks for watching the channel, folks. I'm Ron with Ideal, and put yourself to good use one weekend and make yourself a wind chime. See you later.